the 9 p.m. stream. Hi, I'm Pugs Moran. I do 2 streams every day. The first one, high noon, that comes on at noon. We do that Monday through Friday, and that's all about topics. But then we circle back at 9 o'clock, 9 p.m., 9:05. I had to reboot everything. You don't want to know. We do a thing we call Pugs and Parker. It's me and James Parker, and it's just, two dudes chopping it up, talking about stuff. What's up, Parker?
Not much. So can I just go ahead and jump into it?
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm late. I had to reboot everything.
Oh no, understandable, dude. We all have computers that fart on us. We get it. I just want to jump right into the meat and bones here. So when I am the dude that takes all 4 of my kids to school, and luckily we live in Bug Tussle, so even though they are technically like one's at primary school, elementary, intermediate, and middle school, all the campuses are adjacent. That's how they do it in small towns. So I am the one guy that takes all 4 of them to school. And so we have a few options. Either I can just like let chaos reign and it's Lord of the Flies back there, and they're just yelling at each other, talking about whatever they want to talk about. Sometimes they get along, sometimes they scream or cry or whatever. I can try and overpower them with music. But the thing that works best, and it's kind of good, is I can talk to them. I can just do like a little mini radio show for the 8 minutes it takes for us to get to the school campus.
And are you hitting your target demo? I mean, are you getting topics that you know that they're going to stay tuned for?
See, that's exactly how it filters through my sick head too.
And what do they want to hear about?
Well, it took some practice because I haven't gone for a target demo that young ever. I've never aimed for the under 12 crowd.
Wow.
It's tough. It's different. But what it's morphed into now, because I haven't told you about this, because you don't want to see the pilot episode. You want to see after I've had a little practice. So I'm about a year into this now, and it has morphed into. It kind of morphed into Dory's Daddy's story time, but now it's like Daddy's history lessons.
Oh, okay. And it's not just, it's not like Dad's history, like Dad's a history professor. This is history through the lens of Dad. This is your spin on history, the way you want your kids to be brought up believing. Go ahead. Let me hear it.
Well, I would like to point out that it wasn't on purpose. I didn't like set out to propagandize and indoctrinate my children. But what it turns into is if you have to fill 8 minutes, the best way, the most compelling, entertaining, focus grabbing way, and that's our job every day, is to tell a story. Tell a story that starts when we leave and finishes when we get there. So I'm I have to kind of filter out what are some good 8-minute stories, or what's the story I can tell and how can I make it about 8 minutes. And that accidentally morphed into history time, because all the stories are stuff that have happened in the past for the most part, unless I'm fabricating something about the future. But I'm not doing that. I'm telling existing stories for the most part. And so since they're all in the past, it's kind of loosely turned into Daddy's history lesson for the day. Just for an example, like today we did prohibition. I was explaining to them for 13 years alcohol was illegal. You know how Daddy drinks beer and Daddy drinks whiskey and Mama drinks wine, and that was illegal. That was they decided that because there are some bad things associated with alcohol, and to be fair, there are bad things associated with alcohol, just like there's bad things that are associated with sugar. But we don't make that illegal anyway. So, and I told them what an amazing disaster it was, and how it built up criminal empires, and people didn't drink any less, and there were actually more deaths from alcohol because the people making it now weren't legal businesses. They were criminal enterprises who didn't have the built-in incentive to not kill their customers that a regular business would have. Anyway, that's just an example. So I've got 8 minutes to spell it out to a bunch of kids who've never heard any of this before, for the most part. And
I got to stop you there, just because this is a 2-person show. That's wildly flawed. You're saying that just because a business is illegal, they have no interest in their customers being repeat buyers?
No, they do. But they have less of a built-in incentive. Like the guys in Colombia don't give a damn if they're mixing.
I don't know about that. Look, I think that the illegal bootlegging and by consequence modern day drug dealing is dangerous because it is illegal. Because that's why it's so dangerous.
Right. Yeah, and that's something I was pointing out, and I was saying, and you know how Daddy gripes about both political parties. This is a great example of how neither the Democrats nor Republicans are even close to representing my point of view on what is a very important issue. Because I hear like the Democrats saying, we have the most incarcerated people per capita on the planet. I'm like, yeah, it's because of the drug war. So, we can fix all that like tomorrow. That'll be fixed if y'all would just support my position on ending drug prohibition. But they don't. And Republicans, they're even further down the rabbit hole. That I can't even buy alcohol on Sunday thanks to these guys. So they're
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
yeah.
It's
So
crazy
anyway,
that your Walgreens aren't liquor stores. That's what I say that all the time. When I moved here and I went to a Walgreens because I was trying to buy a bottle of wine, people
mhm,
were like, "You can't buy wine at Walgreens." I go, "What are you talking? What else do they sell?" I didn't know what
yeah,
else because
Tylenol.
every Walgreens where I'm from had a liquor store. Had a liquor department, a
Yeah.
big
Well,
one.
to be fair, they also have Skull, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
place where you still get Skull.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The story time for the kiddos. That's been a fun development that I thought you would appreciate, and I imagine you probably do or have done something similar with Mason.
You know what happens with me and Mason? So on the topic of borderline political issues, that come up, things like, Dad, what do you think about this? I always start to explain, but honestly, within like 2 or 3 minutes, I catch myself and I say, "Look, man," I go, "This is the stupidest stuff for you and me to be talking about." I go, "If you and I want to have this conversation in 20 years when you're in your 30s and we're talking about who's really going to cast the vote that supports us, then we'll have the conversation. But at 13, I'm not going to try and explain to you why people hate Donald Trump or why people hate Joe Biden. You know what I mean?" So
Or what's
I
going
don't
on with
really
like Israel and Palestine? Yeah.
I don't have those kinds of conversations with my kid. A lot of the deeper, more. I mean, if you're talking about, ever since I've been a single father with my kid, and especially when time was short, I have made concerted efforts that the times that we do spend together and the things that I do talk to him about are like important things, like cultural stuff. Like, not like he's very aware that he's Irish. He's very aware of where his grandparents came from in Ireland. He's very excited about going to Ireland when he's 16 or 17. He knows all about, we're not Catholic, but he knows about, our cultural Catholic background and, the Pope and like all of that kind of stuff. So we talk about music and we talk about movies. I don't mean to say that we talk about frivolous things, but we don't really have discussions about, politics or, adult subjects other than just, arts. We talk a lot about arts, music, movies, film, TV. He's really good at talking about that stuff. So
So along the lines of what we were talking about, that sort of cultural heritage stuff, I found I'm in a Facebook group for my family that came from Ireland. They're the O'Byrnes, and
oh yeah.
and so there's a little over 1,000 of us here in
Can I
East
ask a
Texas.
question? Are you
Yeah.
an O with a BY?
We've had
Or
this conversation about a year ago. To refresh your memory, he came from Ireland in 1868. O apostrophe Byrne, O'Byrne.
okay.
Um, yeah, and he married a McCluskey, which is from, oh, what's that place just south
The
of
reason I ask, because Burn BY is Irish. If you're spelling Burn BYRN, that's the Irish. BU is not Irish. Like
yeah.
Mr.
Well,
Burns. Like
we've
Mr.
got
Burns is not
yeah,
Irish.
O apostrophe Byrne. So in the Facebook group, there was a great aunt of mine who was his youngest daughter. After he moved here, they had 13 kids.
Yep. How
And
they did
she,
it.
yeah, and so she wrote this book when she was like 90, and this book was published when she was like 1970 is when the copyright was on the book. And so it told a bunch of stories. And so I got a little more information about that. I bought 5 books off of one of my cousins because they printed a whole bunch, and they're like, if anyone wants to let us know, they're $22 a copy. So I got 5 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give some out for Christmas, but show my kids and stuff. But I can
Yeah, that's
confirm.
cool. I love that stuff. I've researched all that stuff. I regale my son with stories, some of it fiction, but hey, you got to punch up the story, right? You got to make the story
Right.
sell.
All
You're
right.
trying to
So
get a kid
I
excited
know
about.
you told me fun stuff about your family history. I found out a little bit more about mine.
Tell me.
So in the 1860s, John O'Byrne, who was from Limavady, it's not too far from Derry or
Okay.
Londonderry if you're on the
Yeah,
other side.
you're dirty Protestant Northern Ireland, but go ahead.
He's Catholic though.
Well, I see why he got out then.
Yeah, it wasn't very good for him, but he
No.
ended up marrying. She was from Wicklow, which is south of Dublin.
South. Yeah.
Yeah, her name is Bridget McCluskey, and she did not speak English very well. She only spoke broken English, and he spoke better Gaelic. So they spoke Gaelic when the kids weren't
Yeah.
around, like after they came here. So I always thought it was cool. These people, because I've seen it happen. You're married to someone that you can barely talk to, and I don't think that's preferable, but there are definitely some advantages to that.
Well, I suppose, but I don't know how you can have a truly connective relationship with somebody ostensibly for life if you can't even, speak the same language. That seems like it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, it's weird. I've seen it though. I've seen
Oh yeah.
like my wife has an aunt that speaks Spanish growing up, but she didn't like go to school, so her Spanish sucks. Her Spanish is barely better than mine, and she's married to a guy that only speaks Spanish, no English. And
Yikes.
yeah, and I thought it was kind of nice. I saw the advantages of it. I know there's disadvantages because you can only have so deep of a connection if you can't relay complex concepts with your broken English or broken Spanish. But no, the pluses were obvious, you know.
Can we stop for a second? Leslie, I talked about Jeff being absent yesterday, or maybe it was I did it today as well. Jeff is going through some things. Just, leave him alone. I think it's very nice that you're keeping him, in your thoughts, but I mean, we've talked about Jeff, so I'm sorry, James. Go ahead. She's campaigning for us to talk about what Jeff Glenn is going to be missing for a few days. He's going through some family stuff, and
Uh-oh.
yeah, we're all
Oh,
going
that's
to go through it.
serious.
Yeah, this is
Uh,
what I was trying to avoid.
okay, so Leslie, was this the Leslie that called in on mansplaining?
No, this is a different Leslie. This is
Is this the Leslie I
this
know?
is my Missouri babe, Leslie. She goes by two names, Leslie G, and sometimes she's Leslie M. But
That's like the fourth black Leslie I know.
no, she's not black. The black Leslie who called into the mansplaining is the one that's in there right now. Yeah, there she is. Look at my
Yeah, that's what I'm
go-to. There
saying.
she
Yeah.
is. Yeah, we got multiple Leslies. We got
Yeah, we
multiple.
got a lot of Leslies. I can break them down one day if you want. I took notes. I don't know this Leslie though. This is a new one.
Wait, I should say more. I was in contact with Jeff yesterday. He's doing okay. Uh, and
Oh,
and that's it. Just keep a good thought for him. Life is life. And but I did. I had a little chat with him yesterday, so he's gonna be all right. He's gonna be all right. We're all gonna be all right.
so I never did do my Leslie episode. Did I
What do you
tell you I
mean
was
you're
taking
Leslie?
notes? I've been taking notes on the Leslies. That's why I was making note of this new Leslie. She's messing up my Leslie notes because I know this
Well,
Leslie. Go ahead.
the one you're calling the new Leslie is in fact an old Leslie, but she's new to the chat room. But she's been around forever. And now look, we got Leslie Collins. Don't forget about Leslie Collins. We
I have
are
Leslie
number one
Collins.
Leslie.
Yeah, Leslie Gladbach, which is in there right now, and Leslie McDaniel is the other one.
All right. Leslie Gladbach and Leslie McDaniel are the same person.
Oh, damn it. Are you serious?
Just think of her as queen of the chat room. That's what we gave her that title. She's queen of the chat room. Leslie is go-to Leslie. That's the other Leslie that's in there. And then there's another one, Leslie Collins, who is just a damn fine friend and supporter.
And
But
what
yeah, we are very look at Frank Smith. Great stuff, guys.
All right, you want to get
No,
back
but
to the
he
video?
means it. He's being nice. It's like this is like some of the worst small talk ever, and yet you can always count on Frank to be the optimist. Great stuff, guys, and he means it. He's not being snarky. That's not like
Okay.
Jeff Ballard saying "great stuff, guys." That's Frank Smith. He means it. He's a cheerleader. He's getting us going. He noticed. What do you got there, James? Something we can share here?
I got an update from Bug Tussle. A Bug Tussle
Oh.
update. You want to see how wonderful and awesome the news is in my hometown? You want to see how what a paradise I live in over here? Because
Okay,
look,
you're
you
out
can
there in
go.
Tyler, Texas. We're looking at the Tyler Morning Telegraph. Chapel Hill is 2 wins from a state football title. Where'd it go? I was reading.
Guess where I went to high school, guys?
Chapel Hill?
Chap. But so let me appetize your palate. I know we're appetize your palate here with first. You want to take a look at the news as it happens to be in New Orleans. Okay,
Yeah.
I just want to show you like the world I left to the world I'm now living in. First off, Mayor Latoya Cantrell just corrupt as hell. 18,000 scandals. Just got reelected anyway.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even fun reading
Of
about her
course.
anymore. I skip all those stories. It's like I get it. You
Sure.
know, let me guess. The mayor's corrupt. I got it. Whoop-de-doo. But then there's 2 fatally shot in Gentilly. There's a settlement with the
What was
trash
the last time you
contractor.
guys had a mayor that wasn't corrupt, though? Let's be honest. When was the last time that New Orleans had a mayor that wasn't, you know, shady as
You know,
a
it's funny you say that.
palm tree?
We did that as a bit one time because I was on a morning show in New Orleans
Mhm.
and we could not find it.
Yeah.
There was
Get some
there
corrupt
there wasn't one.
politicians down there. Historic.
All of them.
Yeah.
Like I'm going back to 17, 18. All of them dudes were corrupt.
Ugh.
All right, so we see corruption, we see mismanagement, we see trash not being picked up, we see blood running through the streets. Basically, now let's go back to bug tussle. What are we focused on here? This is so comically happy. First off, my high school, let me say it again, is 2 wins away from a state football title. They're going
Hey,
to be in
hey!
the I know. They're playing in the Alamo Dome this Friday, and if they win, they get to play in Jerry's World next weekend for the state championship, which is the highest honor any high school can get in Texas.
Will you be coming down for that? Will you be coming down for the big
Oh,
game in a bus?
I'm not gonna go this weekend, but it's $28 if you want to get on the charter. They've had to charter 3 buses now.
That's fun.
Yeah,
That's
they're gonna
small
go to
town
San
Texas.
Antonio.
All right, so what else you got coming out of bug tussle?
Next story, 22 Tyler ISD Independent School District teachers get surprised with $1,000 shopping spree before the holidays. This is the headline in my hometown. Isn't that great? We're
Ain't nothing going
rewarding.
on.
This is what's going on. We give our teachers shopping spree, $1,000 shopping spree. All these young ladies, and some of them are young moms. You know, they just get a little bit of help there. Now we do have some horrible crime that is happening. Don't think it's all roses here. Look, we have a guy that was caught for look out, Pugs. Tax evasion, Pugs. I'm serious. Oh my God. Not tax evasion. It's funny because in New Orleans, like 2 people were shot in Gentilly on a Tuesday. And you know, that's their news. We do have another, like a more serious crime. If you scroll down here, see this guy, he's from he's from Lindale. He's from where my dentist is. He got caught for child pornography. Now they're just giving you the update. He was caught 2.5 years ago, and then he pled guilty earlier this year. This is just his sentencing, but that's all the crime we got going on. This
What was
guy,
he doing? What was he? Was he like a? What was he like? Was he like selling it, shooting it? What kind of child porno guy was he?
he sent a cloud link to an undercover agent that that had a folder that included porn, and he admitted that he knew that that porn was in there when he sent the link. So
Yeah.
he,
Well,
he's pleaded guilty and he's going away. But I mean that we're telling you about a crime that happened almost 3 years ago.
yeah.
And the other crime we have to talk about in the crime section is what? Tax evasion.
Tax evasion.
Yeah. And so that's about as bad as it gets. It's real tough out here in Bug Tussle, man. Well, look, our an authentic family-owned drive-through just opened a new location. See, that's what we got going on. Isn't that nice?
Do you guys have like TV news? Like, where does your TV news come from?
We do. We have our we have an ABC, NBC, and CBS affiliate. Our Fox affiliate does not do a local news show, so we have 3 of them.
What are
I
they
don't
like?
want to say
19-year-olds? Is it like it's like a 19-year-old girl and like a 78-year-old man? It's
no.
like an old white man who's been there for 50 years and an endless stream of young female partners who are on their way to larger markets.
You are not too far off. Now there's Channel 7, which is the #1 station here for local news ever since I was a child, and they get like ridiculous, I don't know, it's like 20 share or something stupid. And then it's just a race for second place. So at that station, they have the older people and they have a great giant newsroom and they have anchors who all have, gray hair and have been there for 20, 30 years. Those dudes aren't going anywhere because this is the greatest job ever. Dude, if you can make like 200 grand, which, isn't a
Yeah,
lot
right.
if you're a news anchor in
A
Dallas,
lot
but
in there. Yeah, but that's
but
a lot of money to live in, Tyler. You could live very good, high profile. You are a big fish in a small pond, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can live a very charmed existence as a big fish in a small pond.
and do you see what our news looks like? Isn't this great? Isn't it fantastic? It's like
Mhm.
paradise living out here. It's because like, I'm still on the Nextdoor app, and 3 times in the last week, people have posted surveillance footage from their front porch of people pulling on door handles in West Lakeview, which was my neighborhood, pulling on door handles, and just a couple streets away. I was on 38th Street. One of them was on 30th Street just 2 days ago. Just pulling door handles, guys coming by, making sure you locked your car.
Do you know that I leave my car on the street and I don't even lock it?
I understand why you would do that. Yeah.
It's like I don't even we don't even I mean, well, we've got a crazy dog and, other defenses built in. But I mean, I was thinking about that today. I went to the store and I walked back in and I forgot to lock the car and I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like I'm like, it doesn't matter. I realized it when I was too far away from the car and the remote wouldn't reach, so I went to like lock the doors with the remote and I'm like, it's out of range. And I'm like, don't worry about it. First of all, everybody in this neighborhood, the people who live across the street from us, nothing's going to happen to my car. Those people have so many security cameras everywhere. Like the people who live on the corner right across the street from me have like a house that's probably as protected as the White House. So
Y'all
like,
don't have handle pullers? Y'all don't get people pulling on? Because I
no,
know Highland Park's amazing, but you're in
no,
shape.
dude, you're not allowed to. There's no door-to-door salesman. There's nothing like that. None of that stuff is allowed to happen in this neighborhood. The police show up right away. I mean,
Fantastic.
it's kind of weird. I mean, I guess it's nice, like I
I
guess.
I would live there if I could afford it,
Yeah,
certainly.
well, that's the thing. Nobody can afford to live here.
But
This
it's
is one,
back.
quite literally 1% can
Yeah,
afford to live here. That's
that's
exactly what
hilarious.
we got. All right. Speaking of a place that we can all afford to live, and a place that many of us have gone, James, I've got a little something I want to throw on your plate, and I hope I'm not intercepting you here because this is your lane. We talked about this on the High Noon Show, which is a show that I do every day, Monday through Friday at noon. It's all about topics and current events. I got a Florida story for you today. I don't know. Can I throw it? May I be so bold as to
Oh
throw it
my.
at you?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. I guess when I do it, I'll just call it a Floridiot. But I thought that maybe this is one. I don't know if you've heard this. Do you do your Florida stories every day? You got to have Google like alert, right, for Florida man.
No, I don't have any Google alerts. I do it once a week, and
Okay.
plenty of crazy Florida stories get by me every week.
Okay. Well, no, this one should not get by you, and this one, let me go ahead and do your show for you this week because this is the one
Okay.
that you're going to want to use. I'm telling you, James, Dateline, Clearwater, Florida. Do you get a lot of action in Clearwater? Is that one of the?
Clearwater has made a few appearances on Florida stories.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
this is a memorable one. A Florida man, James, went on a deranged rampage in which he had sex with a dog in front of horrified families and then destroyed a church nativity while trying to escape from the angry mob. He then attempted to hotwire a car when he was arrested by police who arrived on the scene. Are you following so far? You getting all the charges?
Man, that's a lot already.
Sex with a dog in front of a bunch of families. And then I guess he decided to have sex with the dog in front of the nativity. So it was like a Christmas thing, like all the families were gathered to look at the nativity, and then old,
Like, of all the places you're gonna commit a bestial act at a nativity scene, like, wow,
yeah,
wow.
old Chad Mason's pretty performative. I think he wanted, he wasn't hiding his love for the Labradoodle. That's right. That's what kind of dog it was, Labradoodle.
Is that what
Chad
it was? How do you know this?
I've got the story right here. Chad Mason, 36, allegedly began his sick crime spree while walking his friend's Labradoodle. So it wasn't even his dog that he raped. It was like his friend's dog.
Hey, can I borrow your dog?
Can I borrow your dog? And then you're like a dude. You live in an apartment. You got a dog. You're like, yeah, it needs a walk anyway.
She
Whatever.
sure is pretty.
Yeah, old
Yeah,
Chad
just take some
Mason.
bags. Just take some do bags.
He began the sick crime spree while walking his friend's Labradoodle Friday in a quiet neighborhood. Wasn't quiet for long. At one point, he began fornicating with the animal in full view of several
Oh,
spectators, including a small child. Hey, kid, look at this. An adult then confronted him during the
hang
act.
on. Okay, look, I always feel like I'm missing a step here. We've done how many of these stories have we done? Doesn't the dog bite them? Like, doesn't the dog fight them? Doesn't the dog bite back or try and tear them up or whatever? Like that.
Unless the dog makes the first move, right? I mean,
well, that's kind of my question. Like, is the dog's not down with that. The dog's not enjoying that.
I've had there's a lot of dogs.
I don't get it.
What if the dog is like humping him? You know what I mean? Like the dog is like, in heat or something like that. Maybe then look, I'm not making excuses for the guy. I'm just saying why the dog might not fight back. The dog might be into it. I don't know.
But I mean, it doesn't hurt.
Right? I don't know. James, I won't even allow myself to imagine it.
I won't even, I'm not even trying to picture it in my head. I just throwing these ethereal concepts out and not even like
doing my best to not picture the things you're describing. Let's see. At one point, he began fornicating with the animal in full view of several spectators, including a child. An adult confronted him during the act, and he ran towards the nearby Northwood Presbyterian Church, where he toppled through a Christmas nativity scene, smashing several potted plants that had been put out for the display.
This guy just can't get to hell fast enough, can he?
So he's having sex with a dog. A dude walks up to him and goes, "Hey, why are you having sex with the dog?" He stops having sex with the dog and he does like what? Like a Three Stooges, whoop, 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 whoop. And he's falling and he's trying to get away. But then he turns and he's right in the middle of the nativity. So now he's like knocking everything over. Then he runs away. Now the mob is chasing him. They're like, "Hey, get the guy," right? And they're all chasing him. So he runs and tries to carjack a car. But then apparently the police showed up at that point. An adult confronted him during the act. He ran towards the Northwoods Presbyterian Church, where he toppled a Christmas nativity scene and smashed several potted plants that had been put out for the display. When he was confronted by someone at the apartment complex near where this occurred, he ran from the scene and began to wreak havoc in the surrounding neighborhood. Okay. Toppling mailboxes. Chad Mason, he toppled mailboxes, kicking cars, and attempting to carjack one driver. Chad Mason was arrested for having sex with a dog and destroying church property. Pinellas County Jail is
saying that.
Mason then destroyed. Mason also destroyed multiple mailboxes and even tried to steal a car to make his getaway, according to the police report. Several witnesses called 911. What do you even say with 911? What are you describing here?
But hey, y'all need to come pick up this dead body because I'm about to kill this dude.
He's now facing a slew of criminal counts, including lewd exhibition and criminal mischief at a place of worship.
Yeah, and eternal damnation. You can throw those charges on there.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be something he's going to have to deal with. He bonded out, James, and will appear in court later this month. This dude is out there walking around. He's out there. Here, you want to see what he looks like? Don't you want to say picture? What do you think this guy looks like? What do you imagine?
Why do I feel like he looks like me? Because there was a guy who like hit. I did a Florida Stories last week where a guy was staying with his friend's mom because he was homeless and he killed her with an axe, like left it sticking in her head, and he looked like me with long hair. It's like I hate that. I hate it when they look like me.
Well, here you go.
All right, here we go. Don't look like me. Please don't look like me.
Well, I think you're in luck. He doesn't look like you so much, but he doesn't look terrible. He doesn't look terrible.
That's
like he
pretty
looks
close,
like
man. That's pretty close. That's just generic white guy with brown hair, a little bit of a beard going.
Do you think he's a white guy?
Yeah, I think so.
You don't see like maybe Middle Eastern?
I don't like I'm a quarter Hispanic, so there's a little.
Yeah, see, well, his name isn't, his name is just white guy. So you're right, Chad Mason. Does it get any more white guy than Chad Mason?
Yeah, maybe Rusty. Maybe.
Yeah, there you go. All right, well, there you have it, James. There's a Florida story for you just breaking this week out of Clearwater. Please.
Thanks, white guy.
Use it with my whatever.
See, this is why white guys don't call each other brothers, because I don't want to be associated with all white guys. I don't want to be, like putting the same Venn diagram circle as all white guys, because there's also these guys that are ruining it for me. The white solidarity and white pride. I can't. Not after this guy. Not after the dog guy. No.
How you follow that? James, you're up. What do you got? You got anything today?
Oh, yeah. We also need to preview what might be happening tomorrow.
Okay, what might be happening tomorrow?
So the continuing saga of one of my many childhood delinquent friends.
Okay.
She had been a part of the show previously. Jennifer, she
Oh
had called
yeah.
in because she is one of the, she might be my record holding friend. I don't know. I have a couple other that might beat this, but she's been arrested more than 20 times, and she is currently in jail right now in the Smith County jail, and would like to tell her side of the story, and is going to give us a call from the jailhouse tomorrow at 9:05.
So tomorrow night we should be expecting a phone call from the jail from our old friend of the show, Dr. Jen. Remember, she's a doctor.
I mean, is she?
I don't know. Said she was.
I mean, she said she had a doctorate degree, but
You're
she's
a
not.
doctor. She mean a PhD. It doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, it's not a PhD. It's like a PED, or I don't know.
Well, it's not a doctor. You know what I mean?
That's something we'll need to resolve tomorrow.
I don't think we need to go down that rabbit hole. I think we're all pretty sure what's going on there. Let's just move on. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
We still haven't had the admission that she has ever had a drug problem. She swears that she's clean now, and she's passes all her drug tests, and
well, look, she was very convincing.
She doesn't have any felonies on her record. Which
she was very convincing when she was on with us. We started out making a lot of fun of her, and then she took it, and she had some pretty articulate. I mean, she seemed lucid, right? She didn't seem like she was out of it. So she gained a little bit of credibility based upon what she was pre-sold as, right? She came on. And I thought, okay, good thing. Maybe she is a doctor. Maybe maybe she is being targeted by police. And then here we are. She's in jail again. It's like, maybe not. Or maybe, I don't know.
She is not stupid. I know she's not stupid. I went to school with her kindergarten through 12th grade, and she got good grades, and she was in a lot of the smart people classes. And there's, this is a good lesson for all of us to remind ourselves that not everyone that's had drug issues or that's gone to jail or has had other, dysfunctions in their life is necessarily some idiot who just can't get it together.
No.
A lot of these are intelligent people, had a tough break, a couple of zigs when they should have zagged, and
well, not only that, but there is a cycle that people, especially people who are beneath the poverty line, fall into when it comes with these crimes that can be adjudicated simply through the payment of a fine. What happens was most people, they get out of jail or whatever because they simply pay the fine. When poor people, and we talked about this with her, when they can't pay the fine, then suddenly they're in violation of not paying the fine, and that fine is now doubled, and now they're looking at twice the amount of jail time, and then they get picked up for something stupid like a speeding ticket, and they spend 10 years in jail, right? I mean, just because of these accrued fines. It's it's an issue, but so it's real. So it is real. And that could be a very real thing. But you're telling me she comes from a good family. She's got a support system, right? She's got a mother. She's got people that she can rely on. So it's not like she's a street person who's caught up in an unfair system for street people.
That's all very correct. And we're going to get the continuing saga because she was very adamant and kind of convincing when she was on not too long ago about how she's got it all together now and she doesn't get in trouble anymore, and she passes all her drug tests, and she's going to all her meetings, and she's just going through the paperwork. And you're right, here she is. How do we explain this? Is and I'm not totally not believing the idea that some people just get picked on by the system, or they piss off a couple of the wrong people, and there's corrupt cops and boss hogs out there that have it out for them, and there is injustice done by people unfairly being targeted by the system, and that might very well be the case. It might be like 20% or 50% of the problem, but I doubt it's all of the problem.
No, it's not all of it, of course not, but it is. It is something that could be a possibility. Hold on a second. I got to refill my water here real quick. James, tell people about, I don't care, Florida stories, man.
No, I want to talk about,
fill about 30 seconds.
I'll fill about 30 seconds because I'm talking about the Cowboys. Cowboys absolutely destroyed humiliated. The entire city of Indianapolis, the entire Colts franchise. The Colts franchise was embarrassed so bad at that game against the Cowboys that even the city of Baltimore has to feel a little bit embarrassed because the Colts were previously in Baltimore, and to even have that level of connection to a team that gave up 26 points in the fourth quarter is humiliating. So that's what I want to talk about.
All right, I'm back.
All right, perfect timing.
I don't know what the hell you said. All right, so I wanted to talk to you about something that I found today that I thought was interesting that I wanted to do. On Saturday, Schwartz and I were doing mansplaining. We were just having a nice little off the air conversation.
Are you talking about? I was there.
Was it when Jefferson Airplane came up?
Yeah.
Maybe it was Sunday. Okay, so it was Saturday.
They asked me. Y'all asked me if I had heard of.
Oh, that's how it started. That's right. Yeah. Okay. So we had further conversation about Jefferson Airplane because I asked him.
Tell them the story because I know.
Yeah, it's not important. It's just Schwartz and I were talking about Jefferson Airplane, and we were trying to figure out, what was the best incarnation of Jefferson Airplane? Was it Jefferson Airplane? Was it Jefferson Starship? Or was it Starship? Right? And so we agreed Starship was garbage, but the debate was between Jefferson Airplane and Jefferson Starship because one was the more famous one that did Woodstock and all that. But then the other one had all the big rock arena hits of the 70s. That was Jefferson Starship. So anyway, long story short, we all agreed that Starship was the absolute worst. So we fell into I fell into a bunny hole today trying to get more information about. James, do you remember this song? This song right here? This is
yes, okay.
Okay.
It's a bad song. I remember thinking when the song came out, and I was like 7. I was like, "This is kind of a little cheesy."
James, it's not a bad song. It's an absolute horseshit, vomit-inducing piece of 80s corporate rock trash.
Okay, it sounds like how they make a kids bop version of everything. If you have kids, you go to like a kids party and they're singing Uptown Funk, but it's a bunch of kids and they change all the bad words.
Right.
This sounds like a kids bop version of a real song, but done by like an adult's bop is what it sounds like.
Right, and it sounded like that too back in 1985 or whenever the hell this song came out. I mean, this was just.
Well, I have a theory about this song. I have a theory that if someone did a remake to this song and they put like some actual guitars behind it and not like this little pop synthy thing that sounds like it was made on my kid's Casio keyboard, like this could be a decent song. Like this is someone pictured a song in their head and they wrote it down on paper. And when it got to the studio and it got through all the producers and the filters and the synthesizers and the, I don't know, arpeggiators or whatever. And
right.
This is what came out. And they're like, this isn't what I had in mind. And they're like, no, this is great.
It's funny that you say that this could be a great song. Because first of all, let me just go through some of the things people are talking about in the chat room. Tartan sauce. Damn right. Jane is a banger. So is Find Your Way Back. Look, Jefferson Starship, man, you'd be shocked. You run through a Jefferson Starship playlist from like 1975 to like 1979, and you'd be like, holy shit, these are good songs. Yeah, they are good songs. When you said this could have been a good song, do you know who wrote this song, James? Do you know who wrote this song?
Man, I feel like I've heard this story before, and I just don't remember it. It was like, not like Prince or something, but it was it wasn't Grace Slick, was it?
No, it wasn't Grace Slick.
I give up.
Same person who wrote this song wrote that song. So when you say it could have been a great song, it could have been a great song. Bernie Taupin. Bernie Taupin, of course, famous for writing all of Elton John's great songs. Bernie Taupin and Elton John, the songwriting team. Bernie Taupin wrote "We Built This City." How do you go? This is arguably I could have chosen any number of Elton John 70s hits. I chose "Goodbye Yellow Brick Road" because it's the most probably critically acclaimed and considered to be his most beautiful operatic offering. But yeah, Yeah.
I've heard this name before, but I didn't know he wrote all of Elton John's songs.
Yeah.
I thought Elton John wrote all that crap. He didn't write Benny and the Jets.
No. Elton John. No. Elton John, Bernie Taupin. Everything that Elton John has ever recorded and vocalized, Bernie Taupin was the primary songwriter on.
Is that like his boyfriend or something?
No. Bernie Taupin's a married guy. Yeah. He's like he's an interesting dude in that he's probably one of the most decorated and respected and highly regarded people in rock and roll. Like Paul McCartney and Bernie Taupin walk into a room full of 1960s musicians, and people are just as impressed to be talking to Bernie Taupin as they are Paul McCartney. You know what I mean?
Wow.
But nobody knows who he is because
but he goes in and he writes this turd of a song.
Yes, he did. He wrote Bernie Taupin, who wrote Goodbye Yellow Brick Road and all of those. Now, here's what happened. Apparently, Bernie Taupin wrote this. This song, James, is about the closing of all of the legendary rock clubs in California. There were live music venues that were all being closed down in 1980, and Bernie Taupin got pissed because he came to Los Angeles to see a bunch of bands and went, "What happened to all the clubs?" So he wrote this song about what happened to the dirtbaggy rock club? What happened to like the mom and pop rock club? Why are we seeing now like House of Blueses and Hard Rock cafes and all of these corporate things? So that's what this song was about. And it was originally, there was no production. It was like a guitar, a piano. It was really soft and it was supposedly really good. And there were some very complex lyrics. Peter Wolf. Do you know who Peter Wolf is?
I know Peter and the Wolf.
Yeah, Peter and the Wolf. Sure, that's a good one. Peter Wolf is this guy. Peter Wolf.
Oh, cool, Jay Giles.
Jay Giles, yes. Peter Wolf is the leader of the Jay Giles band. So Bernie Taupin. What's that?
It's not Jay Giles?
No, I think Jay Giles was just the keyboard player. He was just like the guy who put the band together. It happens sometimes.
Well, my whole life is just a fraud, isn't it?
Yeah. All right. So here's what happened. So Bernie Taupin writes this beautiful song. Bernie Taupin wrote this beautiful song. And the record company said, "Yeah, man, that's not 1980s enough, man. That's not, I don't know. We need to do a little something to it."
So little keyboard.
So they gave it to Peter Wolf, Angel is a centerfold. They gave it to Peter Wolf, and Peter Wolf did this. Peter Wolf ruined this song. He's the producer who overproduced it, and apparently Grace Slick was livid. She was like, "I am not putting my name on that. That sounds like a beer commercial," is how it was described. Because, yeah, it really did. Hold on. I'm trying to pull this up. Okay, so here. Trying to get to this one line. The reason the song is so absurd is because the lyrics, if you break down the lyrics and just listen to it, it's like an outsider, rebel, anti-establishment, anti-commercialization of the rock industry song. That's what it's supposed to be. And yet it's produced in the most
industry. Yeah.
Right. It's produced in the most overtly commercial and saccharine 1980s bullshit way possible. And then don't even get me started. Can I just one of these lyrics? Can I give you just one of the most famous lyrics from the song? Are you ready?
I'm enjoying this breakdown, please.
Marconi plays the mamba. Listen to the radio. Don't you remember we built this city, we built this city, we built this city on rock and roll. Marconi plays the mamba. All right, tell me what that means. What does that mean?
Hell if I know. I mean, Marconi, the dude who invented the radio.
Maybe, right? Maybe. They don't really, they mention radio in the next verse. So maybe, right? So maybe it's that Marconi. What's he doing? He's playing the what?
Mamba?
He's playing
a snake?
He's playing a deadly snake? Did they mean to say mambo? I think maybe they meant to say mambo, but they couldn't even get that right. It's inscrutable how absurd this song is when you listen to the lyrics. It doesn't make any sense.
How about this? If Marconi's playing the mama, that means radio's playing with his own snake. And that could be a
No, you're thinking
metaphor
way
for
too hard. I think they meant to say Marconi plays the mambo, like, like mambo music or whatever, because, no, they just didn't know. They didn't even know that they were pronouncing it wrong because that's how stupid they were. It's just a bunch of dumb, coked up 1980s record company people, and they were just out of their minds. They took this anti-corporate, anti-establishment song written by the great Bernie Taupin, gave it to Peter the Wolf, and made this bullshit. This is what they came up with. This was supposed to be an anthem for the punk rocker. All right. So I told you I fell down a little bit of a wiki hole on this today. Learned all about it. Learned all about the Bernie Taupin stuff and all that.
all right. Wait. So which one is White Rabbit?
Oh, White Rabbit?
Is that Airplane?
Yeah. That is definitely here. Let's do this. Yeah, because I take for granted what people know and what people don't know. So yeah, so this is the same band that just played that piece of garbage. Okay, hold on, let me get in there. They're responsible for like this, which is so this is Jefferson Airplane, one of their bigger hits. I mean, they were cool. They were counterculture. If you'd have told them while recording White Rabbit that if you'd have played them, we built this city in the studio when they were recording this, what do you think they would have said?
This is first off, they would say, "Where'd you get those synthesizers?" That sounds weird.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, with absolutely no connective tissue, if they were just suddenly introduced to that sound, they'd be more blown away by that. All right. So here's a big Jefferson Airplane song.
See, one of the patterns I've noticed is those druggy bands. If they live long enough, they either die or I don't mean like literally die, but fall off. Being able to function, or they have to grow up at some point, and the music suffers. Because Motley Crue didn't have any big hits after they stopped doing smack.
No.
And there's a couple of exceptions, like the Rolling Stones and maybe Aerosmith.
Aerosmith, big exception.
But for the most part, like when at some point you got to either die or grow up, and I don't mean literally die. And when this sounds like a band that grew up, like this sounds like what they would have been doing 20 years ago if they weren't on drugs. This is what happens when you stop doing drugs, kids.
Yeah. This is one of their big ones from the 60s.
Definitely Airplane, right?
Hippie. This is Jefferson Airplane. Yeah, but I make the case for Jefferson Starship.
Now, what did they change? Like 2 band members to go from Airplane to Starship?
No, I don't think they changed any band members. I think it was a conscious decision to seem more modern. I think the 70s was more about, space and all that.
Okay.
I think that's all it was. I think it was just an updating of the band. Here you go. This is a Starship song that absolutely jams. No, I'm sorry. This is a Jefferson Starship. This is not Starship. Starship is garbage. Jefferson Airplane is hippy dippy, but this is Jefferson Starship. The best of the 3, I think. Did you know this song?
Not so far.
Really? Yeah, this is the one that me and Tartan say is a banger. Listen to this vocal. That's Mickey Hart. That is Mick. That's not Grace Slick. That's Mickey. All right, that was one of their big hits. Here's another one. Do you know this one? This is before they threw it all away and became Starship. Man, this sounds so 70s. Doesn't it? Like, this may as well be Kansas, Carry On My Wayward Son.
Right.
Hold on, here we go. Start to rock. All right, anyway. So I fell down the wiki hole. And James, I found this list. By the way, the reason I fell into this list is because We Built This City is considered by 5 different major publications in the music business to be the worst rock and roll song in history. Rolling Stone rated it the worst rock and roll song in history in 2000. NME, which is a British music magazine, named it the worst song in rock and roll history in 2006. And what else? There was another one. Time Magazine named it the worst rock and roll song of the past 25 years. So that led me to this, which is a list, a Wikipedia list, James, of the worst songs that are considered the worst songs ever. All right. You want to go through some of these?
I'm gonna love this list. Yeah, please. God.
Okay. So let's start with the 1950s, okay? Just in the very beginning. Do you know the song? Yes, sir, that's my baby. No, sir, don't say maybe. Have you ever heard that song?
Yes, sir, that's my baby now.
Yeah,
that sounds like a rock song.
At its time when it was released, it was considered to be one of the worst songs ever released, and it became a hit. Okay. What else? MacArthur Park. Are you familiar with MacArthur Park? That song.
I am
It's another
not.
big one. Oh, you don't know MacArthur Park? All right.
MacArthur
So here,
Park?
MacArthur Park was a massive hit for multiple people. Richard Harris. Here, this is the Richard Harris version. This went to number 1 around 1968, something like that. Hold on,
There would be another song for me, for I will say.
Okay, where's the chorus?
After all the that I will to the sky.
All right, this song is like really long. All right, it's got the lyric, MacArthur Park is melting in the dark. Da, 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 da. I don't know. You don't know the song? This song is like really good. All right. 60s. 1968, rated as one of the worst songs ever written. Obla Di, Obla Da by the Beatles.
That's not one of the worst songs ever. You might think it's like annoying, but it's no.
I actually love that song. I actually think that's a good song, but whatever. That's fine. All right, James, how about this one? Do you know this song? This was from 1974. It was another number 1 hit. See, a lot of these songs that are deemed now through the historical lens to be the worst of all time were very popular. People liked them. This song. Have you ever heard this song? Paul Anka's You're Having My Baby.
All right, this is one of the creepiest songs. The first time I heard this song.
Go ahead. Tell me about it, because yes, it is listed as one of the creepiest songs ever written.
It's so creepy. God.
It's basically like a cheesy dude who was raised in the 1950s talking to his pregnant woman like she's a baby factory. Like you're just, thanks for doing this job for me.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me borrow your womb. Now, so
right.
it was a classic radio bit in James history. We had my wife take a pregnancy test on air. Well, she was my girlfriend at the time. Take a pregnancy test on the air, and she was pregnant. And so look at that face.
Did she not know? Was this a shock?
Yeah, we didn't know.
Wow, that sucks. Okay. God, I want to find out.
No. She told me, no, this is what an absolute sicko I am. She told me, she's like, I'm late, and I'm never late. And I got a pregnancy test, and I'm like, wait. If you just wait like 6 more hours, we can do this on the air.
No. All right. James, back to the list. This also made the list of the worst songs ever written.
Yeah, this is one of the worst.
Then like a little bit of ham-fisted forced race relations between multi-millionaires.
Like We Are the World. Anytime you get together with the intent of writing a song about an important purpose, it's gonna suck. That's not how music works. You can't just make it happen. Oh, I'm just gonna write a song about this very important topic. It's like, unless the important topic is love, making love, drugs, or something interesting, it isn't gonna work. Oh, look at how good we're getting along, and we're different colors. Oh God, shut up.
Next on the list of the worst songs ever recorded. There you go.
I love this song.
I hate this song. Really? You like this song? Nope. I'm out. Punching out. Trying to find something else on the radio. That's right. True by Spandau Ballet, 1983. True was noted as the worst song ever by the St. Petersburg Times music columnist Sean Daly and The Guardian. So looking at a big English paper. Williams' colleague Michael Hahn described the track as dreadful wine bar soul. Yeah, there you go. We'll go with that. All right, James, you want another one here? You want another one of the worst songs of all time?
Hang on. We have some nominees from the Peanut Gallery. Michael said Set Adrift on Memory Bliss. He's bringing up PM Dawn. That's a PM Dawn reference. You remember PM Dawn?
Sure, yeah.
That's not a bad song at all, much less one of the worst.
Wait, did he say Set Adrift, Memory Bliss, that song?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I know by them. Yeah, that was good. That's a great song. Is that a bad song?
No, that's not a bad song. He must have worked in retail in the early 90s and had to have it over his head, selling music journeys or something.
Back to the list. Sussudio makes the list as one of the worst songs of all time. Thoughts on it?
I don't like this song, not because the music's okay, the beat's cool, the singing's okay. I just don't know what the hell a Sussudio is. I have no idea. What are you talking about?
I think he's just making stuff up.
I think you do. No, it's a good song.
This is good. This is a nice song. There ain't nothing wrong with this song. How is this one of the worst songs ever written?
It's not. This is fine.
You know what this is? A bunch of people too cool for the room decided that this was lame.
They're like, hey, I can't like this. He doesn't hate his dad.
I gotta tell you, I disagree with this next one too, man. This next one is not one of the worst songs ever written. This song is a banger.
The song's fine. Vanilla Ice himself is a chode.
Yeah, Vanilla Ice himself is a complete douche, but this song is not one of the worst songs ever written. I'm sorry. I know that he became a punchline, but this song is fine.
And I would like to put a caveat in that. If Vanilla Ice showed up at Mansplaining, we would have him on as a guest, and if he wanted to go out for drinks afterward, I would want to go.
Oh yeah. Hey, I had a run-in. I went. He owned a bike shop in Florida, and it made news because he had opened a bike shop. And the radio station I was on in Chicago sent me there to interview him at the bike stop, just to interview him cold. He was super nice. He was super nice. You like between hits, like we did at 20 after the hour, and we talked to him for 5 minutes, and then the host was like, hey, stick around there all day. Hang out. We'll talk to him a bit. And then he just hung out with me. He was just tinkering in the back room. We got lunch. We had Burger King. He's like, dude, you want Burger King? I'm like, yeah, Rob. And by the way, everybody called him Rob. Nobody called him Vanilla because his real name is Rob something. All right. But I thought he was nice. So every time I fall into that, he's a douche. I go, but you know what? He was really nice. He was a decent dude.
Well, he's from Dallas, and
Richardson.
Around. Was it Richardson? I think it was Middleton or Farmers Branch. Anyway, everyone I know that's met him says nice things about him.
Yeah. I mean, you want to say he's a douche. All right, how about this one? Got any issues with this one? One of the worst songs ever written.
All right, so now I think that whoever's coming up with this list is songs that they have been annoyed with the most in their life. Because Don't Worry, Be Happy is not a bad song, but I can see why it would be annoying. This is another song that I've heard way too many times. It's still a good song, but it just ain't that damn good.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a bad song, right?
Right, but of all the songs coming out of 1990, why am I hearing this and not many other better songs from 1990?
Would you rather have something like this?
See, this is another one of those where the song itself isn't that bad. The music's actually pretty good, but the lead singer is a douchebag.
Right, and the people who this song suffers from the people who are fans of it. The way I often say, the Grateful Dead's musical library will suffer because of the association with the people who follow the Dead around. The Grateful Dead's music is actually pretty good, but I could never bring myself to be a fan of theirs because their actual fans are so weird.
Yeah, and I don't want to be associated with them. Right? I wear shoes and deodorant. Yeah.
All right, we'll give you one more. There's a whole bunch more. We could do this for days. There's a whole list. There's 50 of these songs. But here, we'll go out with this one. Worst songs, according to the Wikipedia list, worst songs ever written. Like I said.
Oh, my hump. Yeah.
Yeah. Not a bad song. A silly song.
What you gonna do with all that junk inside your trunk?
It's very quotable too.
My son hates it when I do the robot.
Of course, that's how you do it.
It's the only dance I do.
How fun is it to embarrass your kids?
Oh my God. And I tend to only do the robot in Target. And he hates it.
All right, I have a nominee. This list. Come on. Look, we talk about all the dumb stuff that kids listen to these days, and you and I like to bring up all the dumb stuff we listen to because there is a lot of really dumb music out there right now. But there was also a lot of really dumb music that we liked when we were kids. But I would also like to point out that our parents liked some really dumb music, you know, like Louie. All right, there you go. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's brilliant. That's real Shakespeare. The worst though, Lollipop.
What's that? Is that what's Lollipop?
Lollipop, oh, lollipop.
Or we just shit on the happy birthday song. Is that even a song? I guess that is a song, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a hit. It was like a #1 rock song in the country for like 3 weeks or something. And that's why your grandparents are such dorks. And that's why your grandparents don't like your music. You don't want them to like your music. I don't want my parents to like my music because I know what you liked when you were growing up and it sucked. And
James,
I know Lollipop was even okay. Go, yes.
46 days. 46 days. That's a long time, right? If you had to go to prison for 46 days, that would suck, right?
Ooh.
46 days?
46 days what?
46 days is the amount of time that we built this city spent at #1 in America. The #1. 46 days at #1. That is almost 6 weeks for we built this city. So look, people have terrible taste, and I think we all know this. And as far as like the bad stuff from when I was a kid, I think we just spent the last half hour going through it. We just played all the bad stuff from when I was a kid, and we built this city leads. That's a song I should play for my son just to see, like, because he doesn't have any of the garbage. Like I would get like a first listen review from him. That would be interesting. I'd like to see what he thinks of that. What do you think of this song? And then just give him nothing to go on and just make him listen to it and then get his honest opinion.
Because he doesn't know who Grace Slick or any of that stuff is, right?
No, not at all. He has no idea who The Airplane is. He has no idea that's considered the worst song of all time. Hey, I introduced him to John Hinckley, the guy we're listening to right now. He didn't know who John Hinckley was. I just started playing some songs, and I created the backstory. I basically gave Paul Simon's backstory to John Hinckley. So my son... I'm not kidding. I said he was in a band called, you ever heard of Hinckley and Garfunkel? The kid was like, no, Dad, I don't know that one. So I gave him some credibility before he first listened to this. And he's like, yeah, it's not really my thing, but, you know, it's nice. And then I told him he tried to kill the president. And he's like, what? It's like, but the guy can actually write a song. I go, yeah, you know.
All right. Tomorrow we're having another story from Bug Tussle. A friend of mine's calling from the jailhouse to give us an update on her problems with the justice system out here in Bug Tussle. So look forward to that and download the Floor Stories podcast or listen to it or something.
There you go. All right. All of that. Plus, I'll be back tomorrow at noon for the High Noon Show. I do it every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Join me right here on the stream. We go through all the current events, hot topics, headlines, whatever it is that's happening in the world. I do it every Monday through Friday at noon, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here. We'll be back with more Pillow Talk with myself and James Parker tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. All of these streams can be found at radiomisfits.com, or you can check them out by going to the Facebook page, pugscast.com. All of them from the past year and a half. Oh, my God. It's all there. All right, folks. I'm going to watch something. I'm thinking, what am I going to watch? There was something I wanted to watch. There was something that's new. Oh, yeah. Dude, there's a new Aubrey Plaza movie. You guys like Aubrey Plaza? God, I love Aubrey Plaza. She is so good. She is going to be such a star. She's got a new movie on Netflix. I'm going to go watch that. What's it called? It's one word title. I don't know. All right, guys. I'll tell you what it was tomorrow. If you tune in for the High Noon Show, I'll be like, oh, by the way, that Aubrey Plaza movie that I went to bed watching last night, yeah, here's what it's called. Anybody in the chat room know? Maybe somebody at some point will jump in. Maybe I could just look it up. From the comfort of Emily the Criminal. Thank you so much, Michael. That's what it is. One word title. Good one. All right, I'm going to go watch Emily the Criminal on Netflix. Bye, everybody. See you tomorrow at noon for High Noon with me, Pugs Moran, on the Radio Misfits podcast and platform.